Alright guys, thanks for jumping back into DI. Today I have a massively bullish news on Bitcoin for you guys, so stay tuned for this video. Uh, so Microstrategy is a publicly traded company on Nasdaq and it just adopted Bitcoin as a primary treasury reserve asset. I'm going to go through what this exactly means and why this is such a huge news for Bitcoin and why this is so massively bullish for the upcoming bull run and why this is just a start uh, which would only trigger a bigger subset of companies choosing Bitcoin as their numeraire. Again, if you like the contents of the video that we provide here, do leave a like and comment and subscribe to the channel, support the channel so we can grow and make this reach out to more and more people out there, help them be aware of the space and be aware of what's happening in the world and how to save themselves. So I just want to go through this article that was published by Business Wire, which talks about the choice MicroStrategy took, it goes through quotes directly by the CEOs and uh, involved people. So it's a really insightful article. It's a beginning of a huge shift in the industry. So I want to go through it in detail. So you don't have to, you just have to watch the video to be aware of this news and understand what this exactly means for the space. So MicroStrategy Incorporated is the largest independent publicly traded business intelligence company. Today announced that it purchased 21,454 bitcoins at an aggregated purchase price of 250 million, inclusive of all fees and expenses. The purchase of Bitcoin crypto was made to two-pronged capital allocation strategy previously announced by the company during the results on July 28th. So they purchased around 21,454 Bitcoin at a purchase price of $250 million, so a shade above 11K, I guess. So this wouldn't have been done too long back, maybe the end of July or early August, that they put in this purchase order for this much amount of Bitcoin. Just keep in mind this is 0.1% supply of the available Bitcoin, and that's a huge amount, right? There's not enough Bitcoin for all the publicly traded companies to own 0.1% of the supply. And what this would only do is trigger a massive cascading effects where companies would have two options where they would see the growth of MicroStrategy's reserves grow over the next few years because Bitcoin is going to go up in value, and then the shareholders are going to go in and ask them, well, hey, why are you keeping your reserves in cash when this company who's keeping the reserves in Bitcoin has grown massively over the last 2 years, right? So they are going to get into this whole game theory aspect of this, which is going to be really interesting and which is going to be uh, pretty interesting to see how that plays out over the next 2 years. All right, I want to go through it more in detail. So, what the CEO says, our investment in Bitcoin is part of a new capital allocation strategy which seeks to maximize long term value for our shareholders. This investment reflects a value of belief that Bitcoin is the world's most widely adopted cryptocurrency, is a dependable source of value, and an attractive investment asset with more long term appreciation potential than holding cash. Exactly what our thesis had been for so long, that with the massive amount of money printing and just QE infinity everywhere, all around the world, the fiat currency are no longer a dependable source of value. I mean, they haven't been for a long time, but this year has just been insane, right? And a lot of these people are coming out and accepting it, and they're moving towards more stable source of value, which are only going to appreciate and not diminish your savings. And Bitcoin is the best one out of every other option out there. So I just want to read more. Since its inception over a decade ago, Bitcoin has emerged as a significant addition to the global financial system with characteristics that are useful to both individuals and institutions. MicroStrategy has recognized Bitcoin as a legitimate investment asset that can be superior to cash and accordingly has made Bitcoin the principal holding in the Treasury Reserve strategy. This is insanely bullish. Uh, MicroStrategy spent months deliberating to determine our capital allocation strategy. A decision to invest in Bitcoin at this time was driven in part by a confluence of macro factors, like we've talked about, affecting the economic and business landscape that we believe is creating long term risk for our corporate treasury programs. Risks that should be addressed proactively. Those macro factors include the economic and public health crisis by COVID, unprecedented government financial stimulus measures, including quantitative easing adopted all around the world, and global political and economic uncertainty, we believe that these and other factors may well have significant depreciating effect on the long-term real value of fiat currencies and many other conventional asset types, including many of the assets traditionally held as part of the corporate treasury operations. So this is exactly what we've been talking about for so long, and what the main thesis of anybody who's going to be investing in Bitcoin is, right? With this exactly points out those factors directly, and this is coming directly from the CEO of a major public organization which has been in place for the last 30 years, which has seen the dot-com bubble, has more than 3,000 employees, and it's out there in the public markets. And their performance is going to be judged in the public markets now. Just based on the basis of this news, their stock went up 10% today. So imagine you're a different public company other than MicroStrategy, and you're looking at this, and you're seeing this stock go up 10% in value just by adopting this. Then you have a decision to make, right? There's a game theory aspect to this, which is going to be really interesting, where the other companies, they're going to be judged on the basis of the decision they make now, because this is out there, people are doing this. So if they're not doing it, they're making an active decision there, where they're choosing not to do this, and they're choosing to hold cash, which everybody recognizes in 2020 now is not a stable source of value that you should have your majority of your wealth stored in anymore, because it's going to lose value over a period of time with the massive amount of money printing that's happened over the last year. And it's not going to go down anytime soon. Looks like we're in this big spiral where the only way to keep it going is to just keep printing to oblivion, right? And they're going to do that forever. So you can just imagine where fiat currencies are headed and where Bitcoin is headed. And like this person is talking about, like, they have gone through the research, they've done the due diligence like we have done in the channel, and we recommend investing in digital assets, majority of the holdings in Bitcoin, because that's the hardest form of money ever created. Programmatically deflationary monetary policy, uh, and yeah, so they've gone through the choices and they've decided upon Bitcoin. So that's a massively bullish news, and this is a big uh, sort of like a stamp on Bitcoin by a publicly traded company. And I'm pretty sure in the next year or so, you're gonna see more and more companies trying to adopt this, and they're gonna put their balance sheets on Bitcoin. So what this big company is basically gonna do is all their free cash flow that they get from the in the future, they're gonna directly put most of it into Bitcoin, if not all. I don't know how much reserves they have, but they're going to basically denominate all of that in Bitcoin, which is insanely bullish. So I just want to go through it a little more in detail. In considering various asset classes of potential investment, they observed distinctive properties of Bitcoin that led to believe investing in cryptocurrency would provide not only a reasonable hedge against inflation, but also the prospect of earning a higher return than the other investments, right? We find a global acceptance, brand recognition, ecosystem vitality, network dominance, architectural resilience, technical utility, and the community ethos of Bitcoin to be persuasive evidence of its superiority as an asset class for those seeking a long-term store of value. Bitcoin is digital gold, harder, stronger, faster, and smarter than any money that has preceded it. We expect its value to accrete with advances in technology, expanding adoption, and the network effect that has fueled the rise of so many category killers in the modern era. This is exactly, I mean, you couldn't put this into better words than what's been done in this article and what's been talked about by Mr. Saylor here. Uh, exactly the kind of news that we need uh, going into the end of the year and into next year, and the start of the bull run is here, and we're about to be getting these bullish news articles now, right? Uh, this is massive for space. This is massive for Bitcoin, and like we talk about in the channel also, majority of your portfolio in the digital asset space should be in Bitcoin, simply because of the reason that it's the safest store of value. And if a publicly traded company is willing to put $250 million of their reserves into Bitcoin, then think about it, right? Like, think about where this is gonna go. And they basically said Bitcoin and not any other cryptocurrencies, right? Because they know that that's the hardest form of money. It has a programmatic monetary policy which cannot be changed or altered by any other person. It doesn't call out any other cryptocurrency, and that's why I'm saying, and I always recommend that you put majority of your digital asset allocation into Bitcoin, and then use the other half or whatever amount you're putting to speculate on platform plays or DeFi plays or anything else. But in 2020 and beyond, having zero allocation to Bitcoin is a crime, in my opinion. So get off zero if you have not done already, and you can go back and check my videos, um, prior videos where I talk about how you can store and safely secure your Bitcoin, which is going to be another really crucial part getting into the next year, where the FOMO is going to soon kick in, right? So get off zero, get all your digital wallets, hardware wallets in place, uh, have everything ready, have on and off ramps ready, and you just have to stack sats and chill, right? The space is growing, bullish news are coming every day, and this is one of the best news I've heard about this space in the last year, I guess, because this just starts another phase in Bitcoin's journey where it's going to be denominated as a numeraire for a lot of these publicly traded companies. That's where my stance on these public traded companies is gonna become bullish because I looked up at MicroStrategy today and I was looking up call options for the company. Now they don't have any long term call options, so the last one I could see was in January 2021, so I didn't take it. But you can easily think about investing in a company like this because you know that their treasury reserves are all denominated in Bitcoin. They have $250 million in Bitcoin. Let's say Bitcoin does a 20x and goes $200,000. That's $5 billion right there, and you can see the amount of growth that you'll see and the earnings per share if they are going to directly transfer that to the shareholders, which they're talking about here, which seeks to maximize the long-term value. So this is a good company to invest in now, all of a sudden, right? And like soon there would be a lot of companies making this shift, and they'll take this consideration now. So this is really bullish. Uh, so I hope you liked the video today. I just wanted to bring this to your notice if you haven't seen already. Uh, yeah, so stack sats, chill. There's a little bit of a dip today in the markets, so maybe take advantage of that and DCA into Bitcoin again. I don't know where this is gonna go in the next week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, but I know where this is gonna go in 2021, in 2022. So keep a low time preference, have a long term view, and you're gonna be fine. Alright, that's all I had for this video. Hope you liked it. If you did, please leave a like and comment, and do subscribe to the channel and support and share it with your friends. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.